Hey guys, real quick update for you. Happy Thursday, July 20th, 2023. Real quick update for you guys on the stock portfolio situation. I went ahead and finally today, after just hammering some things out in terms of which entity to use and getting some supporting documentation together and stuff like that, I finally submitted the application of Fidelity for the business brokerage account. This was significant. You may have seen this in some of my other posts. This was significant because I took one of the Wyoming LLCs that I use for passive holdings or investments, whatever you want to call them. I took that LLC and have now submitted it to Fidelity to open the business brokerage account and to move my account from an individual account to the business account. And so the advantage gained here, guys, is by putting the brokerage account in the business, that Wyoming LLC, is part of my living trust. So by proxy, by putting it into that Wyoming LLC, it is now in my living trust. And so because it's in my living trust, it is no longer in my name. It's not considered an asset that I individually own. It is owned by the trust. It is controlled by the trust. I can manage it, and I can put rules around it, and I can disperse it in the manner that I would like it to be upon my passing. So I have a lot of control over it in that regard, and so that's so advantage number one, it's no longer in my name. Advantage number two, I can use the living trust to control the disbursement of it or the passage of it to the next generation, to my heirs. However your situation applies there. And thirdly, the living trust allows me to bypass probate. Doesn't allow me to do it. Allows whoever the trustee, who ends up executing the living trust, that individual, that entity, does not have to deal with probate. Unlike if I just put it in my will, and the will would more than likely be subject to probate. In fact, I think it definitely is subject to probate in the state of Virginia. But in general, the living trust definitely gets me away from probate. The will doesn't definitely get me away from probate. So that's my understanding of it, guys. It's not perfect. I mean, the explanation I just gave you guys is not enough for you to decide whether you should have a living trust or not. But I think it's enough, if you don't have one, to make you think about it, to make you kind of say, like, okay, wait a second, I don't have one. I should find out more about having one. I should look into the advantages of having one and see if they apply to me. So that's really what I would say about that. That's where I think a post like this, a video like this, would leave you in saying, okay, let me get educated about living trust and the advantage of living trust and why and why such a thing would benefit my personal financial situation. So that was a big deal for me today, guys, getting that going, and finally getting the app submitted. I think I first called Fidelity about it on June 27th, and then just a combination of time off and other priorities and gathering the appropriate documentation and asking my advisors at Anderson Advisors about this situation and stuff like that, getting some follow-up questions answered. All of that kind of resulted in a 3-week delay. But yeah, finally got that in, and now we'll see how long it takes for Fidelity to acknowledge it, to do the transfer. We just transfer all the shares over from the individual account to the business account. Kind of should be transparent, shouldn't be any hiccups with that. But definitely something that I will make an additional post about when the time comes, guys. So the other thing I just want to mention real quick, guys, sort of looking ahead, ProPublica, who, of course, if you follow me for a while now, you know how enamored I was with their tax expose of the wealthiest Americans that they kicked off back in summer of 2021. They have a new article. They don't have them as frequently now as they first did. I mean, the first 6 months were a bonanza of these types of tax expose articles. But since then, they've had like a handful over the last year and a half, I think, or so. So the latest one isn't real exciting, but I believe it's about how I think it's a situation where the really wealthy guy bought like a lot of influence with either Clarence Thomas or Samuel Alito. I mean, one of the Supreme Court judges that was just in the news about, about basically taking favors and gifts from a billionaire or something like that. It's one of those. So I'm really excited to read that, guys. Once I've read it and digested it, I will definitely be posting about it, and you can look out for that. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping up with this stuff. Please leave me a comment or a question down below, and we'll definitely get back to you. So thanks, guys. Have a great Thursday night.